Okay. Well, good
Oh,
morning.
good morning, Dr.
So
Tori.
this is special, right?
This is very special. Super excited.
I am too.
That
Very excited.
that
Very
more
excited.
in 2024 that we were talking about,
Right?
it's
Yeah.
here. It's here.
It is here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But tell everybody where we are this morning, Tori.
So we are in the lovely Swan and Dolphin Disney Resort. It is absolutely gorgeous here. And they have been so accommodating in lovely Orlando, Florida. We all the way from Atlanta, Georgia. And it
It's
is just so nice to be in the midst of all of the energy around this conference. Shift 2024. Yeah.
Yes, and we're at the booth of the Pony Podcasters. So,
Yes.
some of my fellow financial services industry experts are also podcasting at this event. So, we're super excited for this
Yes. Yes.
opportunity.
Yeah, this is an excellent, excellent beginning or kickoff to our year. Even though I know we're in the month of March, to be able to come here and recalibrate where we've started and where we're going, I think is perfect. Absolutely
5
perfect.
years.
Five
Can
years.
you believe that?
No. And to even
5
see
years?
that it has evolved to this,
Yes.
when you first stepped out and was like, let's do this thing, I couldn't see it.
Yes.
And I really started to catch the wave a couple of years ago. And now to see that the whole nation is coming to this, maybe even globally,
Right.
right?
All of the who's who
All the who's who.
in financial therapy
Yeah.
are in this
In
space
the
and
in the
place.
place. Absolutely.
Here we are,
Here we are.
5 years later.
Yes.
Wow. So let's take the listeners on a journey of really like how
This
did
came to be.
how this came to be. So tell them about you, Dr. Tori, and
Well, I am a native of Atlanta, Georgia, and I am a psychotherapist, a mom, a wife, a girlfriend, but also now a financial therapist, which, had you not invited me into this world, I probably, to be honest, wouldn't have really even known about this to the extent, may have heard it a little bit amongst other colleagues, but financial therapy in Atlanta is still a baby, 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 like an infant, not even like a crawling baby, an infant.
yes.
And so learning about financial therapy, doing workshops, doing the things that we're coming to do, it has just really broadened my scope of psychology, broadened my scope of my industry. I currently am private practice in Atlanta, where most of my focus is on relationships. And so when I look at this is just an extension of relationships, whether it's a relationship with yourself, a relationship with a partner, a colleague, business, period. Psychology is at the heart of how we relate to one another. So this is just such an evolution for me as a professional. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And you tell us a little bit about yourself, ma'am.
Yes, well, let me just let y'all in on a little secret. Dr. Tori is my college bestie. So I didn't have to
We
bribe,
cheating.
right? I didn't have to bribe her too much to get into this space, but I did have to, nudge her a bit. But yeah, I'm a native Atlantan too. So, one of the proud and few is very few of us
Yes.
out there,
Yes.
Georgia Peaches.
Yes.
And I really came into this space because I spent over 2 decades in banking and finance. And then I eventually started my own practice, Integral Best Wealth Advisors. I'm the founder of it. And one of the things that I quickly noticed, I wasn't always talking about returns on investments and RAs and retirement
Yes.
accounts. When people sit with me, they talk about everything, everything. So a lot of times there's blended families. There's a lot of emotional things around money. There may be secret accounts. There are times that I even work with, couples where I'm not working with them together.
Yeah.
The husband is a client separately from the wife, and I have this Chinese wall. And so it occurred to me very quickly that, hey, I'm not just talking about investments. I'm really doing wealth management, and I'm managing relationships,
Yes.
right? And their legacies, and trying to help them to reconcile so that they're not leaving any opportunities on the
Yeah.
table. And so, but a lot of that also dealt with some emotional mindset. It could have started with their childhood rearing, etc. And so in 2018, I had the opportunity to participate in a pilot that the Financial Therapy Association was doing with the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. And I really believe because of my role at the Federal Reserve and being in that consumer protection space is why I was invited to participate in this pilot. It was really mainly social service or nonprofit organizations who were in the pilot. I was the only financial advisor. And I said, oh my God, this tool, I could use this in my practice,
Yes.
right? And so that's when I reached back out to you again, because that was probably the second time I had
Right,
introduced this to
right.
you. And I was like, can we please do this together? Because I do also understand if I'm getting into a space where there is personal trauma, that's beyond my expertise.
Right. Correct.
And so I solely believed in making sure we have the right experts in the room.
Right.
So I'm so glad you took the invite to join me on this journey. So thank you so much just for the
Yes.
past 5 years. It's been very
Illuminating.
enriching, and I mean just the
Illuminating.
lives that we have impacted from business owners
Yes.
to couples,
College
college
students.
students. Yeah,
Yes.
and so I'm just grateful for the opportunity and to see the fruit of the work.
Yes.
So it's
Yes.
been it's been awesome.
It has been fantastic for me. It definitely has broadened me, as I said, as a professional, but also as a businesswoman. A lot of times as private practitioners in psychology, we have a private practice, and many times myself in the beginning, and still colleagues that I'm around today, only see from a linear perspective of just being a therapist. And I'm not at all frowning upon that. But for me, I did want to broaden my scope to be a more enriched, clinician. And it definitely has helped because, as you were stating, with my relationship work with couples, money is always an issue that comes up. Money is always something that can be a divide or can be something that unites. And so that's one of the reasons I love this because my whole background is about bringing people together, right? And so financial therapy does just that. It helps give more knowledge, more understanding to your relationship with your money, yourself, and your mates or colleagues or business partners. So it's been a fabulous journey for me. Yes.
And I think the reason why you and I also work so well together is, our ideal client is very similar. We have the
Oh,
same
yes.
pedigree. So basically, we're working with executives, small business owners. We're working with people who are high performing people, high potential people, high performing people,
Highly emotional people.
highly successful.
Yes.
And then for some reason, the money part doesn't necessarily align
Very
with
much.
who they are
Yes.
and their values. And so for me, it's like, wow, I need to work with Dr. Torre because we're basically dealing with the same audience, the same
Yes.
pedigree. And it's not that these people are financial illiterate. So I want to be very clear about that. This is
Yes.
not even about financial literacy. This is about that people are repeatedly doing the same thing, even though they know what the right thing is to do, but they can't understand why they're wired to
Patterns.
continue to do the same
Yes.
thing. So back to your point about how money can be a unifier. And
Yes.
so when they have been living so fragmented where their money identity or their integrity with money doesn't match their values and so-called integrity relationships. And I know you'll take that a whole lot further and say, well, if you don't have integrity in one area, you don't have it in any area.
Absolutely.
So but yeah, so helping them to realize that has been just very instrumental.
Right.
And again, the fact that we have that same profile. These are people, whether they're celebrities or athletes. These are the first of the first. So they're kind of the first in their family to kind of break through and have this high earning potential.
Yes.
They're the first. Some of them have it, and I call it similar to survivor's remorse, but they have success remorse,
Yes.
right? Because now
Yes.
they're feeling indebted to their family. Like, I can't go drift too far
Right.
because I don't want people to think I'm leaving them behind, and so they're afraid of their success,
And they are
right?
isolated inside their success.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
very much so.
And so being able to free them, right, free them from that, I think that's the beauty that you and I have witnessed, for people
Yes.
to realize, oh no, this is okay for me to create this joy for
And to
myself.
create a new identity with money,
Right,
right?
right,
Have
right.
a new persona, new understanding of the relationship. Many people don't even realize that there is an actual emotional relationship to your money, your finances, right? We have a relationship with the bills,
Right, 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 right. The
the
necessity.
necessities. But yeah, when it comes to money, there is an actual dance that we do that many of us are not aware of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then those patterns creep in. And that's what, makes me laugh. When I think about the pilots, right? Pilots have the steering column when they're flying a plane, and every inch actually changes
Hundreds of
direction, right,
miles.
for 60 miles. So
Yes.
when you're thinking this little thing, oh, it won't hurt if I do this one more time, not realizing, well, actually, it's changing your trajectory a whole lot. So imagine this. I'm deciding I want to go to Bali. And then at the end of the day, I end up in Hawaii. I'm going to be a little upset, right? Because I really wanted to go to Bali. But
Absolutely.
it was those little incremental changes in my steering, right? That got me
Ripple
over in
effect.
right, got me over in Hawaii. Yeah, Hawaii is nice, but guess what? I settled. I don't want to settle,
Oh,
right? I don't want to
yeah.
settle.
Yes.
I want to be in Bali.
Yes.
So that's why these conversations are very important because they're very intentional,
Yes.
right? And so we create this intentionality. We make sure that we have integrity around it. We're doing the things that we say we're going to do. And when we see things come off course, we can realign quickly and
Yes.
not think this minute maneuver doesn't matter when it
Yes.
does.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. And I feel like, working with the individuals that I work with, getting them to understand that my reasoning and my emotion cast so much weight into my actual experience in life. A lot of times we think things and we keep them to ourselves, or we withhold things from our partners or from our business colleagues, thinking that it won't matter or thinking that it's not substantial, when in fact, it's very much substantial and important and significant.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
All information is important.
All
It doesn't
information.
have to be a kumbaya piece of information. All information is important because now you know how to retrofit or recalibrate around it. You want that
Yes.
opportunity, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You don't want to
And
just
the
wake up in
clarity.
Hawaii.
Yes. And the clarity. Because once we
Yes.
become intentional, we become extremely clear. And you can't make $1 million deals without having that clarity.
Right.
And so understanding the very foundation of how we process and how the processing affects the outcome. That's what we're doing. That's what we're
Yes.
doing. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So let's let people in on our little journey, this whole evolution to healing, right? It's very, our process is very similar. Like in my world, we have a financial planning process. So there's a process to help people get to their end result, or at least that's what we try to implement. And so the same thing is what we're doing in financial therapy. So hopefully the listeners will grab a pencil and try to jot these things down.
Right.
But when we go through this journey with our clients, this is what we go through when we go through this whole evolution. We talk about what are the things that you dislike about yourself or your life.
Yeah.
So we have them to start there. Why is that important?
Because if you can identify, you can't change. I always say you cannot change what you do not identify. And so many times we're going through life, experiencing life, and not really connected with ourselves in a way of understanding. I really don't like this. Why am I doing this? Or this really isn't that important to me. I'm doing this because my wife, my husband, my kids want me, my parents have this expectation, but deep down, this isn't my desire. This is how I want to live my life. So when our feelings and our belief systems aren't congruent, we have problems. So likes and dislikes is huge.
Yes, yes. And then after we get them through that question, then we ask them, what are your values and why? Like we want to know why their values or what their
Yes.
values. Because a lot of
Yes.
times, as you say, sometimes we adopt values that we grew up around. And they're not really
Yes.
our true values, right? And
Yes.
so we want them to explain, why is that your value? Like you just can't say, oh, I live in honesty and integrity and
Yes.
empathy, and it doesn't fit at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like,
I think,
why?
with values, we're always talking about the foundational bricks of how we want to connect with our life. Many people think a value and a standard is the same thing. It's not. When you're talking about your values, you're talking about the things that you want to be known for, the things that say, oh, that's who Sybil Slade is. She's a woman of integrity. She's honest. She's forthright. She's focused. Like she has a sense of zeal and passion for this and the other. Whereas many people, they haven't identified that yet. Or again, they have accepted or bought into the value system of either their culture or their actually intimate family culture, right? Which means they're not really sure or not really certain of what is valuable and important to them because they don't know themselves that well.
Right. And then once we go from there, this is one of the ones that I really like the most because it makes us self-actualize for real. So once we've determined what those core values are, then we have them to answer how do you violate
Oh,
these values, and then what violations have you normalized? Talk about that a little bit.
so in the world of psychology, normalization is just how we have learned through repetition and pattern to exist. So people think normal means good. No, there's no, indication or any definition to say that being normal is being right or correct. It is what we as human beings have learned. This is what I'm used to doing. This is what is familiar to me. So if you're saying that a value is, let's just say, honesty, right? But you're not honest with yourself. So let's take it to a physical aspect. Okay, I'm an honest person. I believe in being true and honest with myself. I know I need to lose 20 pounds, right? But I continue to eat food that I know is contradicting
Right.
that 20-pound loss I'm seeking.
Yes.
Now, let's take it to a financial situation. A person says, I want to save $10,000 in 12 months. And that's important to me. It's important to me because I believe in contribution. And if I can get that $10,000, I can contribute more money, more energy, more time to something that is of importance to me. But I'm constantly spending. That's a violation. That's
Yes.
a violation of contribution because I'm constantly spending the funds that I said I was going to save. That's also violating the value of honesty
Yes.
and maybe it's contribution or consistency. So there's many ways that we can violate something that we think is a bedrock or a foundational brick, but our actions are not measuring up with the things that we have aligned to. Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And so that brings me up to the next question that we usually walk them through. We ask them then, what are your, and you just hit on it, what are your non-productive patterns, right?
Yes.
That you have pertaining to your triggers? Because a lot of times we know when we have a trigger, but then we'll still ignore it. To me, that's still kind of like the pilot in the plane. Oh, just a little bit this time, just this one last scoop of ice cream. I know I need to lose 20 pounds.
I'll skip the
Or
gym today.
right, or I'm gonna buy this little purse because it's on sale, even though I'm still supposed to be saving
Saving
this money
money.
that I said that I
Yes.
was gonna save, right? So these patterns, and then it gets to the point where we ask them, now let's talk about what positive patterns can you create when you are having these triggered feelings. Talk about
Right.
that a little bit.
So when we normalize something, it becomes a part of us. It becomes so much of our matrix, like the color of our skin, the color of our eyes, the color of our hair. So then when we start to have non-productive behaviors, what we're doing is we are undoing what we say we're building. So if we are actually building a financial foundation through savings, but we're constantly spending, that's a non-productive behavior, correct? Now, how do we normalize that? We normalize it because maybe there is some trauma of I'm not enough, so I'm constantly buying clothes. I'm not happy, so I'm constantly using vacation to get away from my situation. Those things cost money. So the non productive behavior is starting to be a coping mechanism so that I can get through life and manage life because I'm not in control of my life. So it's all a circle,
Right.
and one begets the other and the other.
And so
Yes.
then that's why we get them to really focus on what are some positive patterns. So when those moments
Yes.
hit, you already have this list listed that's positive.
We
So
identify what's
right,
positive. We
right,
identify a coping mechanism to insert to counter the non-productive behavior.
Exactly. Yes,
Yes.
yes. And then from there, this is kind of where we wrap with our clients. We say, now that you understand your values, what does alignment look like for you? So that's that final question that we end up asking them, because we want them to be able to express what does that look like for them. Want them to be able to visualize it,
Yes.
see the possibilities that they
And to
once
identify,
thought was not there
yeah,
before, right?
and to identify what they're already doing right.
Right.
So when we,
Yes.
yeah, when we talk about finding that curative, that positive coping mechanism, we're saying, okay, look, you're already doing this.
Yes.
Let's do more of
Do
it.
more of it.
Yes.
Exactly. Let's grow in this space, right?
Yes.
Now let's take that and transfer it to other parts of what other parts of our life can we translate this to, right? Because those
Yes.
patterns, it's not just going to be in money, not just going to be in relationships. It's going to be in a lot of things. It may be in how
Yes.
you show up at work, how
Yes.
you deal with friendship, how you deal
Yes.
with your kids,
Yes. Your attitude
your
about your
attitude.
work.
Yes.
Yes. All
All
of
of
those
that.
things have a significant impact on how you perform as a professional and as a highly successful person.
Yes, yes. And again, once we carry people through this journey, that's when we see the light bulb go off, the aha moments. And, for our listeners, if this is a journey that you would like for Dr. Torre and I to take with you, we want you to reach out to us. So,
Yes.
Torre, tell the people how to contact you.
Well, I am in Vinings, Georgia, which is outside of the city of Atlanta. You can go to my YouTube channel at Dr. Torre Prothero Wiley. For additional information, you can go to my website, drtorre.org, and reach out, either request a consultation or request an actual in person consultation. And we start from there. How about you, Sybil?
So yeah, you can reach me at www.integravestwealthadvisors.com. So IntegraVest is a play in between integrity and investment. So IntegraVestWealthAdvisors.com. On social media, I'm Sibyl S. Slade. So you'll be able to find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, all the social media is Sibyl S. Slade. And similar to Dr. Torre, if you reach out to me on my website, you'll see a book a meeting button. So you can
Yes.
book an initial consultation, and then certainly we will walk you through what it looks like to work with us on this journey that we're talking about. And that's how to reach me. So any last thoughts you want to leave with our listeners today, even or about the conference?
Yes. I just want to say that we are here learning and growing and stretching. We don't ask anything of our clients that we don't do ourselves. And so we are here trying to broaden ourselves professionally and in our relationship too, because our relationship is constantly evolving and growing. And we look forward to partnering with you and helping you extend and grow as a professional too.
Yeah, I definitely echo those sentiments. We are definitely here for you to help you to grow, help you to thrive, right? This is my mantra, and I learned it from my millennial kids. I don't want to wait for that golden moment. I want my golden moments along the way, and that's what we want for you. We want you to experience life the way you intended along the way. Do not let money and money conversations change that
Yes.
opportunity. Let's explore all the possibilities that are there for you in life that's beyond the money conversation. It's about your life and your quality of life. And together, we can help you achieve those golden moments along the way. All right, ATL. We're going to enjoy the rest of this conference. Super excited about being here for Thrive. Thank you again to Pony Podcast for the opportunity to
Yes.
go live here while at the conference. And we will see you all soon.